You all can hear me and see me, right? Just drop a thumbs up in the chat. Mandibular first premolar is the smallest of all the premolars. The crown of mandibular first premolar has a lingual tilt of about 30 degrees, what we have discussed, and that is one to compensate for the teeth tilt. The enamel is penetrated at the lingual incline of the facial cusp and dilated along the long axis of the root. And the lateral perforations are much more commonly seen in the mandibular premolars. Mandibular second premolar shows the greatest variation in the eruption timing. And second cusp type appears round, and three cusp type, that is buccal, is and two lingual cusp appears square with Y-shaped occlusal pattern. In three cusp type, the buccal cusp is larger and distal lingual cusp is the smallest one. It is a tooth that shows the greatest variation in the occlusal form next to the maxillary third molar. Coming to the permanent dentition, the maxillary first molar. Maxillary first molar is the largest permanent tooth to be seen in the oral cavity and also known as cornerstones of the dentition. The first permanent tooth calcify and show greatest buccolingual diameter of all the teeth. There are four cusps, that is mesiobuccal, distobuccal, mesiolingual, and distolingual. And the mesiolingual is a cusp, the largest, followed by mesiobuccal, distolingual, and distobuccal, and fifth cusp. That is, fifth cusp is going to cusp of Carabelli, which is seen on the mesiopalatal cusp. You can see this is a sorry, this is the one that is cusp of Carabelli. That is fifth cusp that is present on the mesiopalatal cusp and also known as the cornerstone of dentition. And 60% of population may have the fifth cusp, called the cusp of Carabelli, on the mesial of the mesiolingual cusp. And cusp of Carabelli is also seen in the maxillary distal second molar, as we have discussed. And the mesiolingual cusp is the largest cusp in the dentition and is also the most primitive cusp. Shows the three roots, that is mesiobuccal, distobuccal, and palatal. And palatal root is the longest root among the posterior teeth. Palatal root is the largest root to show facial and lingual concavities also. And distobuccal is the smallest root and is a commonly resected in the furcation involvement. Generally, if at all the furcation involvement occurs, then we will be removing this tooth. And the roots are in close proximity to the maxillary sinus. And in an ideal occlusion, upper first molar shows the buccal inclination, while the second and third molars are inclined distobuccally. The occlusal view are outline is rhomboidal and buccal is going to be mesiobuccal and distolingual angles are acute and mesiolingual and distobuccal angles are obtuse. And this is also one of the very important things because like much more very frequently they do ask these and every question. See, these are all important for a clinical purpose. You're not just reading for the sake of me or for you, for the sake of like exam. We are studying for the welfare of the society. See, now the like people are having any number of problems, dental problems. So as a dentist, we should be treating each and everything within a once we know subject knowledge, then only we can do that. Otherwise, it's going to be zero, right? That's all. We have to think for the welfare of the society. It's not for me, you, money, or see, money will come and go. But the thing is like satisfaction, how much quality of treatment that you are performing. That is like the knowing the subject knowledge and also implying them in the clinically exactly what you have to do. Generally, what I observed is like people are also doing this kind of mistakes. Like the well-renowned prosthodontist also doing this kind of a common mistake that I'm saying. That is, they make a primary impression, thereafter they go for jaw relations, and thereafter they will be directly insertion. That's it. They skip the secondary one and also the try-in. Still, they don't know why they do, like, I don't know. All know the concept, all in the fundamentals, but we have to stick to the basic fundamentals. We should ask the patient to come 5 times also. Yes, they have to come. Otherwise, it is not going to. Even for the full mouth implant conditions, this is a scenario that we can see, because public are interested about running behind the money. It's like dentists also running behind the money, and public were like they want everything fast, fast, fast. What fast? Nothing is going to complete in fast. Everything has to take exactly what the time it has to take. That's it. If you want to get the treatment to get done, do it like that. Otherwise, don't get the treatment done. We should say. Otherwise, it is like, see, people are like the dentist I'm speaking, like let's do this kind of cases. This like if we skip all these appointments, it is going to be completed in the 3 to 4 days, and definitely we are thinking that by the end of the 3 to 4 days we are going to get 1 lakh into our pocket. This is what they are thinking for full mouth I'm speaking, full mouth implant conditions. But it's not the thing that we have to be sticking to money. It's about like ethical practices should be executed. That's like primary, secondary, and then we have to place in multi-unit apartments or angular apartments or customized apartments, and then we need to make another impression, and then or if at all we are going with the direct framework, that is Palomar or Thimble Bridge or any kind of bridges that are going, then we can directly place that, and over which we can get another relations uh, with the framework and without framework, and then we have to go it within a try-in, and then we have to go within an insertion. It's not like just like randomly we go. The distal bifurcation is located 5 millimeter above the cervical line, and the bifurcation on the buccal side is located 4 mm above the cervical line, and bifurcation on the mesial side is located 3 millimeters above the cervical line. Four major cusps are separated by edge-shaped occlusal groove, and early trigon or primary cusp are represented by mesiobuccal and mesolingual and distrobuccal, and the distrolingual cusp becomes progressively smaller in the second and third molars. Maxillary second molar normally shows a three-cuspal occlusal anatomy. The trigon cusp, smaller than the first molar, and cusp of Carabelli is absent in this maxillary second molar, and rhomboidal form of occlusal surface is more pronounced. Maxillary third molar is much more commonly impacted tooth, and it is a tooth that shows the greatest variation in the occlusal form. It most often appears as a developmental anomaly, varying considerably in size, contour, and relative position of the other teeth. The roots are shorter and commonly fused. Maxillary and mandibular third molars are the teeth that commonly show a largest variation in the root morphology. Mandibular first molar, the first teeth to erupt in the oral cavity, and it shows the greatest mesiodistal diameter of all the teeth. It is the most common tooth to be lost to the caries, and it is only permanent tooth that stays with the deciduous dentition for longer period of time. And it is the first tooth to erupt in the oral cavity. It shows a five cusps, that is mesiobuccal, distrobuccal, distal, mesolingual, and distrolingual. And mesiobuccal is the largest cusp, followed by mesolingual, distrolingual, and distrobuccal. You can just remember like a mesial, lingual, buccal, and distal. The sequence follows like this, from ear to ear, then ear, and then ear, like this. You have to remember like that. It might look like some kind of like Chinese diagrams, right? But we have to remember like that only. And a mesolingual cusp joins a distrobuccal cusp along the floor of the central fossa, and this is forms a diapithecus pattern. There is two curves coinciding with each other. Transverse ridge is seen formed by union of buccal and lingual triangular ridge, and it is commonly involved tooth with a furcation involvement very frequent with that we observe. What we do is like furcation involvement, we reset any kind of like suppose falcation involvement, then we will be bifurcating the root crown. That is, emisection can be done, and thereby we can preserve the roots like that only. And most available tooth for the emisection or bicuspid position, the bifurcation is located 3 millimeters above the cervical line, and perforations are most common in the lingual wall during the access cavity preparation, and highest incidence of periodontism and condensing osteoitis is seen. You can see all the cusp and the location that is like reserving well. They are not going to ask you the transverse growth and all. But when we do any kind of composite restoration, then we have to be focusing on these things. Otherwise, we are not going to create any proper kind of like anatomy. And mandibular second molar, the posterior teeth with maximum facial-lingual inclination, that's 20 degrees, and posterior teeth with maximum mesodistal inclination. It has a focus that is maximum mesodistal inclination. That is a mesobuccal, distobuccal, mesolingual, and distolingual. And distal cusp is absent, as we see in the even in the mandible. Maxilla is also similar, right? It is not completely similar to the maxillary first molar. Like that only, even in the mandible also, there is no distal cusp in the mandibular second molar. And the patterns are going to be, it is like, see, the patterns are going to be like different type of patterns are very commonly observed. Y Fisher pattern, you can see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and fifth one, the plus Fisher pattern. And the focus, you can see this plus kind of thing that we're going to see. And the 6 cusp patterns, that is very less frequently these are going to be seen in our patterns, but variations do occur. Mandibular third molar, it greatly resembles a mandibular second molar, and it that is like third molar is currently absent from one side. Means suppose on one side if it is absent, it is F. Don't curse me for the F to be like P. Okay, suppose like on the right side we don't have any like a mandibular third molar, then definitely on the left side also it will be missing, and the distal inclination of the roots is greater, and their partial eruption may result in the periodontal defects and resorption of the distal root surfaces. Till now we have discussed a lot about our like numbering systems and then the primary and permanent teeth, very distinctive features and all. Does anyone has any doubt? Please do ask. Anyone has any other doubt? Please do ask. I think this is a fundamental topic, right? So that's why everyone will be like, "Arey, mujhe to malum hai ye topic." I know this topic from the childhood. Like, what do you feel, right? Yeah. Okay. I can see the chat. Everyone. Yeah. I know this is one of the very fundamental topic and basic topic, but we have to revise and revise and revise. Otherwise, we are going to forget each and every concept. I'm saying it. You have to study each and every concept from in and out only. Otherwise, you are going to forget everything, everything. Revision is the only key to success, I can say. Learn, revise, and repeat. Why we say it is like learn, revise, and repeat is because without revision, you are going to be like zero. Whatever you study, you feel like, Arey, I have studied this somewhere, I have studied this somewhere. But all these options that are present will be near to it only. It will be not like a one is India, Africa, Russia, like that. It is not going to be present. They are all on the same points. It is going to be somewhat similar, similar, similar. Okay. Thank you for watching. The only trick is to success is learn, revise, and repeat. Join us with just a call or WhatsApp message on this given number. This is Dr. Vikram signing off, and always learn to in the clinical oriented manner.